All right. Welcome to the Sexual Transmutation Masterclass. My name is Kevin, and I am super happy that you're here learning this information. I'm going to show you, how you can turn your sexual energy into higher levels of attraction, confidence, magnetism, success, drive, ambition, motivation. The list goes on, and you will learn exactly what sexual energy, transmuting sexual energy can do for you in your life in this training. Okay, so let's go over what we're going to cover in this training, what you're going to learn. The first thing you're going to learn is what sexual transmutation is. Okay, if you've heard of this concept before online, or you don't know of it at all, well, I'm going to be explaining what it is. Okay, I'm also going to talk to you about how it works. Highly successful people who've used this concept, transmuting sexual energy, as their secret weapon to achieve high levels of success. The benefits you're going to experience when you do this properly, and there's going to be tons, I'm telling you, tons. And then most importantly, if you stay to the end, how to do it, okay? Now, I do want to make a disclaimer before we start, is that not everyone is going to make it, okay? You know that saying, we're all going to make it. No, we're not, okay? I want you to think about this. Think about how many guys there are in this world, okay? Right now, at the time recording, I don't know the exact number of the population, maybe 7, 8 billion, something like that. We're closing in on either 9 billion or something like that. How many of these people are men? Let's just say half, okay? So between 3 to 4 million, 4 to 5 million, something like that. Billion, I mean. Of these 4 billions of guys, let's just say 4, okay? 4 billions of guys. How many of them practice concepts like nofap, semen retention, and sexual transmutation? Probably not that many, right? Let's just say 10% of guys have heard of this information, okay? So 10% of 4 billion is what? 400 million, something like that, right? That's a lot of people, right? But it's not a lot of people. Or 40 million. No, 400 million is correct, yeah. Now, of this 400 million, of this 10% of guys in the world who know about this information, how many of them do you think are practicing nofap, semen retention, and sexual transmutation, more importantly, sexual transmutation properly? Even less, maybe half of that, right? Or a fraction of that, right? So you're amongst a small percentage of men worldwide who know of this information. But the thing is, just because you know all this information does not necessarily mean you'll make it, okay? Sexual transmutation is a deep topic, right? It's not as simple as, oh, I just abstain from sex, masturbating, not touching my pee-pee, right? Not ejaculating, and I'm good to go. The reason why a lot of guys online who get into this concept, sexual transmutation and fail, or semen retention, nofap, and fail, is because they don't know about sexual transmutation. Sexual transmutation is the key. If you want to transmute your sexual energy, transmute your sexual desire, overcome your sexual urges, because you're transmuting them so that you can do it long term, okay? This practice is something that takes time, okay? It takes time, dedication, and commitment to master, right? I've been on this journey since 2017. 2017, right? Not even that long, it's like 5 years, or 2016, actually. That's when I discovered, maybe even a little bit earlier when I discovered this information, but I was practicing. And there was many times in the beginning where I would have like a month or two of hot streaks in terms of like semen retention and nofap, and then I would quote unquote relapse, which I'll explain to you later is not the best word to use when it comes down to this information. And then after about a year or two of practicing, I finally had a long streak of 13 months. And then my second long streak was 11 months. My third long streak was 11 months, right? And this year I've been doing it for 4 months. Recently I had to stop my streak for the reason I'm about to share with you in the slide on nutrition and food. But this is a practice that takes time and dedication and commitment to master. There are certain principles that you need to know and understand in order to truly succeed on this path, right? And for this exact reason, I can only give you an overview of these principles. I can only teach you the key principles you need to know and master in order to really succeed on this path, not just as like a fluke, not just as a one-time thing, but something that you do consistently as a lifestyle, okay? Because ultimately, semen retention, nofap, sexual transmutation, it's a lifestyle, okay? You can even continue to do this when you're in a relationship, when you're married. And I believe you can have multiple orgasms, right? I haven't necessarily hit that state yet, but when I get into a relationship, my next relationship, when it's more aligned, that's what I'm going to be doing. That's what I'm going to be practicing. It is semen retention. It is multiple orgasms. So you can continue this information well into your relationship status, okay? And trust me, I believe it'll be even better, right? When you do this in a relationship and your partner is aligned with your goals, because with this information, you're going to evolve spiritually and you're going to attract a very high quality female, okay? Now, with all that being said, at the end of this program, I want to be very transparent, okay? At the end of this training, I'm going to offer my course for the people who want to dive even deeper. If you like what I teach, if you think I can take you into the promised land, right, which I can, I'm going to give you an opportunity to get invested with working with me, okay? Getting my course and diving even deeper. I am going to give you the key principles you need to know and master to succeed. However, they're only overviews. You're going to have to do the work either way. You're either going to have to investigate and research this information yourself, or you're going to have to pay someone who's done the work and hire a coach, okay? It's up to you. I'm going to give you the keys. I'm going to give you which doors to enter, but it's up to you to do the work. The same way I put in my months, my years in order to master this information, the same way you're going to either have to do that or you're going to take the shortcut by working with someone who's already done that. So without further ado, let's get right into it. So what is sexual transmutation? Okay. This concept was first popularized and introduced, right, by Napoleon Hill in his book, Think and Grow Rich. More specifically, chapter 11, The Mystery of Sex Transmutation. But you have to remember, this concept has been practiced for ages by the great sages of the past, okay? There was a lot of Hindu, Vedic, right, people of the Indian culture who've been using celibacy, abstinence, and sexual transmutation to achieve higher levels of spiritual development, which we'll go over. We'll talk about this, okay? We're going to talk about all aspects of sexual transmutation, but just remember, this concept has been around for ages. The concept, the practice of turning your sexual desires, turning your sexual energy into something else, transforming into something else. This has been around for a good amount of time, right? But it was only introduced by Napoleon Hill in his book, Think and Grow Rich, and it was popularized by him. That's how I learned about it. And I say here, the problem is he never explained how to do it, right? If you read the chapter in chapter 11 in his book, he never explained how to do it. And if you look at the title of this picture, the mystery, right? He called it a mystery, right? What do you do with mysteries? You try to solve the mystery, you demystify, right? You try to crack the code. Well, that's essentially what these last 4 or 5 years have been for me, trying to figure out, how do you transmute sexual energy, right? How do you do that, right? Do you like get horny and then think about something else? Or do you get horny, think about your goals? Do you get horny and then go work out? No. That's not how you do it, right? I will show you. I will tell you guys exactly how to do it in this training if you stay till the end. So, and I'm not joking. I will tell you exactly what to do. I'm not going to go into detail, but I will tell you what to do, okay? So let's go a little bit deeper into sexual transmutation, okay? Let's take the word first. What do you see? Sexual and transmutation, right? We have sexual, as in sexual energy, or all things related to sex. And then we have transmutation, right? In transmutation, we have kind of two words, trans, break it up, mutation, right? Trans could be described as transform, transformation, right? That's why we have transgender or transhumanism, right? Which I think is a very interesting topic on its own, but we'll save that for another day. And then mutate or mutation, right? So transmutation, right? If you put the words together, sexual transmutation then means the transformation of sexual energy into another form. It's really that simple, okay? It's the transformation of sexual energy or all things related to sex, sexual desire, right? That lustful feeling, that energy that you feel, right? Into another form, right? Sexual energy is the feelings and sensations that we experience with the arousal of our life force energy, okay? It's usually what arises in our body, right? In our being when we think, feel, or see things that stir up that primal drive to want to procreate or want to experience another form of life. Right? We see a beautiful girl. Ooh, that dragon of sexual energy. We want to experience it, right? We want to experience that. So you could say, in essence, it's the life within us wanting to experience other aspects of itself or creation, right? If we're all one, then it's one aspect of life, one aspect of us wanting to experience another aspect of itself, okay? So if we dive even deeper, sexual transmutation is turning a lower nature into a higher one, okay? Now, I'm not sure how evolved you are on your spiritual journey, but the notion that we are spiritual beings living inside, having a physical experience, or that we are animals with higher consciousness, right, is simply explained into this, okay? Animals cannot regulate their sexual desire. They cannot transmute sexual energy. They see another animal, they're turned on, they want to replicate. That dog, that lion, that cat, that kitten is going to mount the other cat right then and there. That's what animals do. Animals see another animal, the male sees another male, it will do what it does because its instincts are conditioned that way. Humans will do that too, but that's if you're a fucking animal. I mean, we're all animals, okay? But if you do not regulate your animalistic instincts, you're gonna act like an animal, okay? The difference is humans with higher consciousness have the ability to transmute this energy, right? Have the ability to choose in between that response, right? This was also something in Viktor Frankl's book, right? There's something that happens to us, and then there's the response. We can choose, right? There's a time in between the stimulus and the response, stimulus and reaction. Usually people get a stimulus and then they react, right? I poke you, you jump. What he's talking about is I poke you, that split second before I react, I can think about responding a different way. Maybe I can choose to just laugh, right? So in this split second where people feel sexual energy, you can change that sexual desire, that sexual energy into another form. You can turn it from a lower nature to a higher one, from sexual energy to spiritual energy, from a base metal to a precious metal, to turn lead into gold. That is the essence of sexual transmutation, and that is the essence of alchemy, sexual alchemy, more specifically. In his book, Think and Grow Rich, Napoleon Hill says there's 3 potentials for sex transmutation, okay? There are 3 potentials for sexual energy or the emotion of sex. The first one, he says, is the perpetuation of mankind. The second one is the maintenance of health. He also goes down further. As a therapeutic agency, it has no equal. And then he says, number 3, the transformation of mediocrity into genius through transmutation. Okay, so let's break this down a little bit. The first one, the first potentiality he listed, is the most basic primal way sexual energy gets utilized to further mankind, to procreate, right? Hence the word perpetuation. In order for our species to continue, we need to perpetuate our species, and we do that by procreating. So that is the most basic level, most basic rung, okay? That's like level 1 foundation. We use sex, sexual energy, the emotion of sex, to perpetuate our species. Number 2, right, the maintenance of health is the next level up. To conserve and to cultivate this energy, right, for its health benefits, as practiced by many Eastern practitioners in the East, right? And practices like Tai Chi, Qigong, right? Internal alchemy or sexual alchemy, right? Retaining this energy within our body, allowing it to build up, and then using it to nourish our being, nourish our soul, right? This is why he says, as a therapeutic agency, it has no equal. When you are filled with life force, when you are filled with sexual energy, this energy will take care of your magnetic field, and it'll also use your magnetic field to take care of your body. So it's like a cycle, right? You have abundance of energy. This energy will get allocated to wherever your body needs it. Your skin will get better. You'll start to glow more. Your cells will work faster. Your brain will work better. And you'll see why in the later sections of this training. I'll show you pictures of what happens when your body is on sexual transmutation or semen retention, okay? But number 3 is what I believe to be the best use of sexual transmutation, right? To transform our mediocrity into genius, or to transform our mediocrity into greatness, or to go from average Joe to super ho. I mean superhero, okay? Not super ho. That just rhymed, you know, average Joe to super ho, okay? And what I mean by this is to unlock your superhero, okay? Your higher self, your inner genius. Now I have this slide up with a bunch of superheroes, okay? You're probably a guy, maybe most guys, I would say, had a superhero growing up, okay? We look up to superheroes because they remind us within us, it stirs up our imagination that we have some sort of super ability, superpower, right? Spider-Man can shoot shit out from his wrist. Superman can fly around and be super strong. Batman can fly around and act like a bat with his mask on. And then the Hulk, again, is super strong. Well, look, guys, I'm not talking about trying to, you know, act like a superhero like these guys, right? These guys in this picture, these fucking dweebs, right? These chumps. Don't be these guys, okay? Don't dress up like a superhero. It's so cringe, okay? What I'm talking about here is think about their individual abilities, okay? Their each individual abilities, right? Each one of them has a superpower, okay? Correlate this to human beings. Each human being has a superpower, right? I'm not talking about shooting stuff out from your wrist. I'm not talking about acting like a bat and flying around, jumping around buildings. No, I'm not talking about acting like you're a green Hulk and just Hulk smashing everything. No, every person has a genius. Every person has a superpower. Every person has a higher ability that God has gifted them with, okay? And think about nature. What does orange trees do? They produce oranges. What do apple trees do? They produce apples. What does a rosebud do? Well, it turns into a rose, right? Every insect, right? Bees, what do bees do? Well, they pollinate the flowers and they do this, right? Every insect, every plant, every animal has a specific job, has a specific role, has a specific function. And most importantly, they could evolve into their highest potential, their highest form. What do humans do? What do you do? That's where we're confused. But if we look at people like Michael Jordan, LeBron James, we look at these high-level people, Steve Jobs, right? Each one of them have a specific function. Each one of them has a specific job, a higher purpose, a higher power, inner genius, okay? They're not, these people, acting like a superhero. They have actual super abilities in the human world, which is slightly different, but those are what I consider superheroes, right? The least you could do is become an actor who are playing these characters in the movie. That would mean you have unlocked your superhero ability. To be a top level athlete or actor, that is your superhero ability. Now, a better depiction of what I'm trying to get at, which is also to use cartoon figures, is this, right? A better depiction of becoming superhuman. If you've ever seen the movie or the TV series Avatar: The Last Airbender, or Dragon Ball Z, this is a better depiction of what I'm talking about, okay? And I'll break this down, okay? I don't like using cartoons as an example, but this one's actually a pretty good one, okay? Avatar: The Last Airbender, the idea behind it, at least from what I've seen so far and what I looked into, is that the Avatar, right? There's actually 4 tribes, right? There's the firebenders, the waterbenders, the airbenders, and the earthbenders, right? They each have their own respective energy. They all have their unique respective gift, right? One can only bend fire, one can only bend water, one can only bend earth, one can only bend air, right? The Avatar can bend all 4 elements, okay? And this is significant for what I'm about to share with you in the section of spirituality, okay? When you master your energy, when you master all 4 elements within your body, because you have fire within you, you have water within you, you have earth within you, and you have air, all 4 elements exist within inside of your body. When you master your energy, you become the Avatar. You unlock a higher state of being, okay? You're not just one-dimensional, okay? You're multi-dimensional. And this is a better depiction of unlocking our superpower, our inner genius, is to master our energy, master our elements, okay? When you master water, earth, fire, and air, as ironically as the avatars put it, right? They even talk about balancing your chakras if you're into that, right? Which we'll talk about as well. For those people who think this is kind of woo-woo out there, just hear me out. And you're probably in the wrong place too if you don't believe in this stuff, okay? When you balance the energies within your body and your body is in homeostasis, not just that, you master the elements within you, right? You're not too hot because you're eating too much fried foods, or you're not too damp and cool because you're eating too much junk and you're slowing yourself down. The traditional Chinese medicine the concept shows, right, how to balance heat with cool, damp, wet with fire, right? It's the same thing. You just balance out the elements within your body so that your body can be in homeostasis, so that your body can operate at its highest frequency, okay? And the second cartoon we're looking at here, which is pretty cool too, is Dragon Ball Z. I watched this a long time ago. I haven't watched it in a long time. But what I remnants of is turning into Super Saiyan. How do you turn into Super Saiyan? How do you go from Goku, a little boy? How does he evolve over time into Super Saiyan? Well, he gathers chi, right? He gathers chi. Chi in the Japanese tradition is ki, K-I, but it's chi, Q-I in the Chinese tradition. It's all the same shit, right? It's the life force energy. All these cartoons are just reflecting to us our power, our potential, reminding us that stuff like this exists, right? Even in the Avatar, it talks about how to balance your chakras. And if you look it up on YouTube, Avatar: The Last Airbender, Balancing Your Chakras, there is a series where I think it was another wise guy or one of the earlier avatars telling Ong, which is this guy right here, how to balance his chakras. But nevertheless, in Dragon Ball Z, right, he's gathering chi, right? He gathers chi and then he transforms, right? Once you have enough chi within your body, within your force field, he turns into Super Saiyan, right? Well, that's essentially what you can do when you gather sexual energy, when you gather life force energy, when you gather the magnetic power of life that's within you, and then it transforms you into a beast, okay? It turns you into Super Saiyan. If you aren't aware, or if you don't practice this, or you don't have a lot of sexual energy within your body, if you've ever watched Dragon Ball Z where he's charging up, where he's like, right? He charged up this ball, this life force to shoot at someone. Well, if you're depleted, you're busting too many nuts, and you're about to charge up, you're like, and then you can't get the engine started. It's like sparking. It's like, well, you got no life force energy, brah. You ain't gonna turn into Super Saiyan. It's gonna be like super shit. You ain't got nothing to transmute or transform. So this is a better prediction of becoming superhuman. But this is what I'm talking about, right? I'm talking about becoming a real life superhero, okay? I believe within all of us, we have a seed of greatness, right? At first, I thought this was like a cliche saying, right? But when you dive into this information and experience what I'm talking about and experience what I've experienced, you're going to change your mind on what it means to have an inner genius lying within you, okay? I believe every person has an inner genius lying within them, given they are given, provided that they're given the right amount of nutrients, okay? So who are real life superheroes? These are the individuals who have unlocked their highest potential, okay? Individuals who have achieved greatness, people who have unlocked their inner genius, and people who have unlocked their superpower, okay? And I'm gonna go over some examples very shortly, but let's look at what it means to be a genius, because people think genius, oh, this guy's just super smart, right? He just has super high intellectual capacity, right? That is a genius, but this is what a genius is. A genius is defined as a person who has remarkable intellectual or creative function or other natural ability, okay? Intellectual, creative function, and natural ability. If you have any of these at a highly developed level, you are by definition a genius, okay? You don't just have to be super smart. You could be someone who is very artistic, very creative. You could be a rapper, right? You could be someone who paints very well, or anyone who has a very high level natural ability. That is a genius, okay? Remarkable though, you have to have remarkable. And that's why sexual transmutation is the key, as Napoleon Hill talks about, to transforming your mediocrity into greatness, into genii, right? You can go from average Joe to super hoe, okay? That's what I'm talking about. Using your sexual energy to turn yourself into Super Saiyan, to turn your intellectual, creative function, and natural ability into a higher state of achievement, right? Into a higher power. This is how we do it with sexual transmutation. But first, I want you to hear it from the people who've done this practice, and you probably know a few of them, okay? The first one that I'm going to share with you, who I consider is a bodybuilding legend, right, is Ronnie Coleman. Right? This guy was Mr. Olympia for 8 consecutive years, and I want you to hear what he has to say about sex and sexual transmutation.
Now, do you abstain from sex before you're working out? Or does it make no difference?
To be honest with you, it makes a lot of difference.
Really?
Yeah, I keep as far away from it as I possibly can.
So no sex when you're training? Why?
It makes it kind of hard to lift weights. It takes away from the strength. I don't know how ladies.
Takes away from
I don't think ladies Lewis lift weights.
No?
Yeah.
So if you have sex, you look like the fighters. You say you go weak in the knees. Is that true?
No, you weak all over.
Really?
And not just the knees, the arms, legs, everything.
The second guy, right? Tyson Fury, right? If you're in the UK or you're aware of boxing, right? This guy is undefeated, okay? He's known as the Gypsy King. And his fight with Deontay Wilder was crazy. The first fight, if you've never seen it, the second fight, oh my God. And then the third fight, the first fight, he almost got knocked out. So you should watch this fight if you haven't before. Just type in Tyson Fury versus Deontay Wilder 1 and watch all 3 of them. Listen to what this guy has to say about retaining and semen retention and sexual transmutation.
Have you been doing this your whole career?
Only for the big fights.
Okay.
For the big fights.
And you find that it helps. It works.
I find it makes me a beast. It makes me a fucking beast, man. It makes me a proper beast because I don't have any sexual intercourse 8 weeks before a fight. So I'm like a bull, strong like a bull.
8 weeks,
Nicky
huh?
said, women weak in legs.
That's one of the longer ones that I've heard. Why 8 weeks?
Because it makes me strong like a bull.
Okay. And that's something you've been doing your whole career as well?
Most of the big fights, yeah.
Wow, that is amazing.
And then finally, there's also Patrick Bet-David. This guy is the guy behind Valuetainment Online, okay? He's the founder and CEO of Valuetainment. His channel right now has over 4 million subscribers. And he abstained, right, from sex 17 months in order to make his first $1 million, okay? How many of you guys, right, how many of us are willing to go without sex, masturbation, porn, right, for 17 months? Right? My longest was 13 months. Some people do it longer, but he went 17 months, right? He knew of this concept, sexual transmutation, to get to where he wants to be. And I want you to hear it from his own words.
I'm 24 years old, and I made a decision that I'm not gonna have sex until I make my first $1 million.
I went 17 months with no sex because that was my obsession. I wanted to find out what was my motivator. During that 17 months, if you want to find the level of motivation that I got, I was on fire. When I wanted my dad to go to Hawaii, I wanted to go out there and win. I wanted to make the Bet-David family proud. 17 months later, I started making the kind of money I've never made before.
So why does this happen, okay? In Napoleon Hill's book, Think or Grow Rich, I'm going to quote this multiple times, or, you know, you'll hear me quote him multiple times. He says, when driven by his sex energy, man becomes gifted with a powerful force for action, okay? He says, sex desire is the most powerful of human desires. When driven by this desire, men develop keenness of imagination, courage, willpower, persistence, and creative ability unknown to them at other times. So strong and impelling is this desire for sexual contact that men freely run the risk of life and reputation to indulge in it. So powerful, so true. However, when harnessed and redirected along other lines, this motivating force maintains all of its attributes of keenness of imagination, courage, etc., which may be used as a powerful creative force in literature, art, or in any other profession. Any other profession or calling, including, of course, the accumulation of riches. Okay. Now let's dive into that a little bit deeper and talk about the driving power of sex, okay? The reason why sex transmutation is so powerful is because desire, right? The desire of sex, the emotion of sex, it's a powerful state of being that drives you toward to want to experience something, okay? When you see that pretty girl, when you see that Instagram model, when you see that 10 out of the 10, what does that do? That spurs you, that stirs up a primal drive within you to do something, okay? It'll either cause you to find a website, find a private bathroom, find a private place to like bust a nut, right? It will stir you into action. And as Napoleon Hill said, sex desire is the most powerful of human desires, okay? It's the most basic primal aspect of us. And we need it in order to survive. But just think about, right? All the things you've done in the name of getting sex or in the name of a girl, right? I want you to reflect right now. Are there any times in your life where you've done something stupid? Maybe you bent over backwards for a girl. Maybe you made yourself look like a clown. Maybe you were too nice, right? Maybe you went out of your way to get her something, buy her flowers, buy her a teddy bear. You did something so that you can win her over. But in the end, you didn't get her. Or you were trying to get sex from her and you did some stupid shit, okay? Think of all the times you've done something in the name of getting a girl or to get sex from her. And think about how that motivated you because of that, right? That primal desire to want to have sex, to want to get with someone is so strong, right? It's a great motivator because sex, right? Having sex, procreating is survival. It's the survival of our species. It's a primal drive within us, okay? It's a very important basic need that we need to fulfill in order to move our life forward. And as this school of Tantra says, Somananda, right? Somananda Tantra School, sexual energy is the energy of creation and creativity. All of us ultimately stem from sex. We are a creation of sex and it is our origin, right? So there's nothing taboo. There's nothing to be ashamed of. Like if you're a Christian, right? No touch pee-pee, no sex, right? There should be sacred sex, sacred sexual energy. But if you're ashamed of your sexuality, oh boy, you're in for a wild ride. You'll burn in hell. I'm just kidding. Without sexual energy, there would be no life because there would be no urge, motivation, or driving force to create life. Think about that statement, right? If we didn't have desire or sexual desire, right? Or just desired in general, we wouldn't want to do anything. And if we didn't want to do anything, right? How could there be any action, right? It's what drives life forward, right? Desire is a state of being that causes us to do something. If you didn't want to change, right? If you didn't want to learn this information, you would not be here right now, right? If your desire was low, right? If you didn't care for what I'm about to teach you, you wouldn't be sitting here however long in, 30 minutes in, right? Learning this stuff, right? The more you want something, the stronger the desire is. Hence why Napoleon Hill in his book, Think and Grow Rich, the first chapter is about desire, right? To have a burning desire for your hopes, your dreams, your visions, and your goals. The more you want something, the more it impels you to take action. So if sexual desire is the most powerful of all human desires, and you learn to transmute that desire into something else, well, now you have the most powerful form of human desire behind your ass, lighting a fire behind you to take action towards your hopes, your dreams, and your desires, okay? And I want you to think about all the people, right, which I'm about to show you in the future, right? These powerful athletes that have engaged in this practice, right? More specifically, boxers, and how this translates, not transmute, translates into their success as a fighter, okay? What I just shared with you right now, right? The more you want something, that burning desire, turning sexual energy into something else, listen to these fighters and see for yourself, okay?
It's like scientific. Like if I fuck the night before I spar, I'll go in there and look like a rag doll. Like my coach has literally told me before, you had sex last night, didn't you? No, he could tell. I don't talk to him. He sees my performance after one round. I come back to the corner. He goes, "You had sex last night, didn't you?" And I go, "Yeah."
That's a lot.
It's that
That's
big of a
probably the
difference.
worst after a round of fighting.
Yeah, I know, right?
Just called up by coach for pumping.
No, seriously. And he's like, "You can't fucking do it." But I haven't done it in like a year. I haven't made that mistake because, bro, you get your ass beat when for some people, some fighters will sit here and say, "Nah, I fuck the morning of a fight. It's cool. That's for you." But for some fighters, it makes a massive difference.
The no sex before a fight thing, like
it's different for each fighter, but a lot of fighters are affected by it, including myself.
And you're sure this isn't just all mental?
I'm sure, 110%. I don't believe in placebo. I have to experience things for myself.
And you notice that has a positive impact?
Yeah, it's night and day. I've only messed up like on occasion, once or twice, because it's noticeably different, and I take more punishment in sparring if I do that. And my coach, BJ, will be like, "Did you have sex last night?" You can tell without me even saying anything.
He's just slower. He's not as good. He's not as quick. He's not as fierce. He's not as aggressive. It's obvious to a guy who's been around boxing for, I'm 42. I've been around boxing for, 33 years. So I see it very quickly. And he always comes clean because we have like the whole, full disclosure thing, me and him. There's no lies, doesn't matter what it is. And ancient warriors, they deprive themselves and they sacrifice certain things before they go to battle. And it's important that Jake sacrifices and deprives himself of certain things before he goes into battle, because that's exactly what this is. This is a battle.
Oh no, listen, I'm a consummate professional. I've abstained from sex my entire career, and I've never, ever slipped up on it. I've been tested many a time. I've even been tricked a few times, Tricked? Yeah, like woken up and, something's going on, which I didn't say was okay. I've had that a couple of times. But I've never, ever slipped up. I always keep the discipline. I always keep my routine. If I say I'm going to do 4 weeks, I do 4 weeks. If I say I'm going to do 7 weeks, I do 7 weeks. I've done my 2 weeks for Conor Ben.
The longer you abstain, you build strength, you build testosterone, energy, stamina, reaction time. Everything is just week by week, it just builds and builds and builds. Not by huge percentages, but every percent that's going to help.
My levels must be through the fucking roof then, because it's been ages. So
you've got a chance.
but sex, it's not just sex. It's, you can't use your hand either.
Right. No. In which case, I'm fucked.
By yourself.
You have to keep it in. You have to withhold.
Right.
The longer you keep it in, the better you become in a fight.
Okay.
Fine. And your statement was that you abstained from sex before the fight. How long did you abstain from sex?
About 3 months.
Damn. Wow. Man.
You really wanted to win, didn't you?
Oh
yeah, I wanted to win.
Apparently, I'm in training.
Abstain from sex before the fight? Absolutely, yeah. I love it.
He said, you like boxing? I said, yes, sir. He said, how long do you wait before you're having sex before a fight?
That's the first thing.
He asked me, he said, do you like sex? I said, sometimes. He said, how long do you wait before a fight, you stop having sex? I said, about a couple of days. You're a bad dude. You're a bad dude.
How much time did he say you needed to stop having sex before? I'm always curious with boxers.
A couple months.
Months?
Yeah, oh yeah.
And this goes way back in any athletic endeavor or wars. They used to say that the Romans, before they went into battle, the women could not be with the Roman soldiers before the battle. It weakened them. I've heard. That's true. You've heard. Now, I'm not, as I say, I don't want to be personal, but football players, they say we don't want women in training camps because it weakens the fire. Now,
same with boxers.
Do you have to stay virginal as it is before a fight? I was only answered as an academic question. I'm not trying to. You know what I meant.
Well,
Does it in any way sap your strength?
Well, we have a train. I just built a training camp in Deer Lake, Pennsylvania. about 20 miles out of Reading, and it cost me about some $170,000 to complete it. I have a log cabin, training quarters, big couple of bunkhouses, a restaurant, and we have horses, stables. And I built all of this just to get away from my wife.
Ah, well, then you've answered the
Way
question.
up on the mountain.
Well, I want to tell you exactly what I do because I'll be giving my opponents my ingredients. But let's just say that my wife is not enjoying what I do on a day-to-day basis inside the bubble, getting ready for a game. Let's just say that. Spend a lot of time on my body for sure.
Okay, so you just heard it for yourself, right? These people, right, these fighters, these high-level athletes use abstinence, right, abstaining from sexual activity to drive up their life force, to drive up their sexual desire, to drive up their aggression as a male so that they can get sharper, stronger, faster in fights, right? And even at the end, right, Muhammad Ali and LeBron James, arguably one of the GOATs in NBA, talk about how they get away from their wife, how the wife isn't happy because of what they're doing during training, right? And how the warriors in the past, the Spartans, would not see their wives for a prolonged period of time, right? To build up that aggression. That's what sexual transmutation can do for you, right? If you're not feeling like you're up to par, right, with your masculinity, with your masculine energy, if you just abstain, right? Stop wasting your life force, stop wasting your sexual energy. If you just abstain for a period of time and allow your body to starve itself from that sexual gratification, when it builds up that sexual energy, it's going to spur you into action. You're going to feel more like a man, okay? And I want to give you some ideas to think about, right, for why this is the case. Think about what happens when you don't eat food, okay? What happens? You get hungry, right? What happens when you get hungry? In the beginning, you probably go a little crazy, right? Get a little angry or hangry, right? Your blood sugar starts to drop and you start to get cranky at everyone. You start to get really mad and upset, right? You start to go hangry and search for food. But after a while, you start to, maybe calm down a little bit. If you're fasting, right, your body will start to fast and you'll start to eat yourself, right? So in the beginning, if you don't eat food or you get hungry and that hungry stirs you into action, okay? You get hangry. That causes you to search for food, right? Synonymously, right? When you abstain from sex, when you do nofap and semen retention, in the beginning, you're going to be super horny, right? Especially when you don't know how to transmute your sexual energy because there's an excess buildup of sexual energy. But after a while, when this sexual energy builds up and you learn to transmute it, you turn it from lower desire to higher desire. My desires now for sexual contact have been automatically transmuted, right? Transmuted into successful desires, right? I talk about being sexually frustrated and successfully frustrated, okay? When you do sexual transmutation, in the past, right, I was sexually frustrated to find a girlfriend, to find someone to fuck, right? Find something to fuck. It went from constantly thinking about how can I have sex with someone to now how can I do the things that make me successful. My energy has shifted completely to I want to achieve my hopes, my dreams, and the desires, and I am relentless in achieving it. That's the same way how these boxers were able to retain and not fight or abstain from sex and fight with such vigor and vitality. It's because they want to win, right? I want my goals the same way they want to win, right? And when you have this power behind you, that is how you're going to succeed, okay? But think about the concepts I'm sharing with you right now. In the beginning, when you're hungry, right, you'll go hangry and you'll search for food. But if you're doing it consciously, you're trying to fast, and you can sit through that pain, sit through that hunger, well, your body will start to fast, it'll start to eat itself, and it'll start to take down cells that are weak and recycle them, autophagy, right? The same way your body has these powers to reuse itself, I mean, given a certain period of time, right? If you have on board stuff to fast, the same way in the beginning, when you build up the sexual energy, you can transform it into something else, right? And it's not necessarily the same with fasting, because if you fast for 100 days, you're eventually just going to die from not having food. But with sexual energy, this will continue to build up. And the more it builds up, the more it gets simulated into your cells, right? The more it gives you that glow, that radiance, that ojas, as the Hindus will call it, that spiritual energy, that spiritual radiance. But the concept is the same. You deprive yourself of sex, that sexual desire, that sexual energy builds up, and you transform it into something else, okay? And the way you can understand this is that there is energy that is always flowing in and through us, okay? This is the energy of creation, okay? Think about this, right? You don't have to do anything right now, and your body is working on itself. Your cells are turning over, right? Your blood is being transported, right? There is an energy within you that is flowing in and through you, right? It is animating your life. The same way it's animating a flower and allowing it to bloom and blossom with the energy of the sun and the energy of the moon and the energy of the earth, all of it working together. There is an energy that is operating in the background, right? And it is always seeking expression. The flower wants to grow to its full potential. The human wants to grow to its full potential, right? The insect, the bird, the bees, whatever, it wants to move. It wants to do its thing. It has its job. It has its purpose. It has its function, right? This energy is always seeking expression, or it's always desiring to do something, right? This is the energy of creation, and it is what moves our life forward, okay? And when you harness this energy and you have abundance of it built up within your body and you're giving it another channel, right? And you're transforming it, as we're talking about here, you start to experience crazy, crazy benefits, okay? Because there is more life force, there's more creative energy, there's more divine energy, there's more God energy flowing through you. You can use whatever term you want. People call it sexual energy. I call it life force. I call it Jing, call it Chi, right? They're all different forms of energy that is wanting expression. The more of this you have built up, the more powerful you will become, the more driving force, motivation you'll have within your body, okay? So let's talk about some of the benefits when this energy is harnessed, okay? The first is, on a primal level, you're going to experience increased drive, motivation, ambition, confidence, and success. Like the boxers that we talked about, right? These guys are driven with sexual energy, driven with aggression, assertiveness, power, because they have more testosterone flowing through them. Higher levels of masculinity, energy, and masculine energy and masculinity, right? Testosterone, vigor, and vitality, which I just talked about, because there's more power flowing through you. There's more man juice flowing through you, okay? The same way, right? A mom, when she has a baby, a fetus inside of her, and she has that mom glow, you're going to experience what I call the man glow, because you have more man juice flowing through you. Increased sexual attraction and magnetism from other women. This is, I guarantee you, when you do like no fap and semen retention only for like 30 days, 60 days, you are going to experience sudden increases in sexual attraction and magnetism, okay? And I will show you proof, or not just proof, but I'm going to show you other people's testimonials, right? Of this fact, right? And I've broken it down in my program, why this happens. Why does this occur? I'll show you examples within nature, why the attraction towards you has increased, okay? But this last point I read here, women will literally begin to throw themselves at you, okay? I've experienced this multiple times, right? They literally throw themselves at you, asking, like, literally letting you know they're down to fuck right there, right? But it's kind of a turnoff for me, at least, especially if they're not the type of girl that you want to get with. But let's look at this. If you go to YouTube or you go to wherever, Reddit, right, and you just type in the benefits of nofap or nofap attraction or semen retention attraction, this is stuff you're going to see, right? First, look at these guys, right? They look pretty high level, right? They look pretty cool. These are guys who practice nofap, right? Practice semen retention. And they talk about how it attracts women, or how, you know, there's definitely attraction, right? These guys don't look like your average Joes. They're guys who are trying to make it in life, and they are practicing these concepts. But if you click in and you read these comments, right? This is my most favorite one right here. He says, I was a single virgin for 27 years of my life. Started semen retention for 3 months with no porn. Suddenly, women started reaching out to me with little to no effort. Got a girlfriend after 4 months. Lost my virginity and have been dating for 2 years. Weirdest experience of my life as a lifelong virgin. Okay. Now, I love this one and I can attest to it myself. Even though I lost my virginity before I did semen retention, when I did semen retention for the first time in my life, I got a girlfriend. Okay. Like I've had hookups before that, but I wanted someone to consistently have sex with. So for all of you virgins out there, this is good information. Or for all of you sexless guys out there, this is good information. Instead of busting your nut online to a digital girl, right? I call it fake, right? Because even though it's a real girl being recorded, you're ultimately living in an illusion. So instead of wasting your sexual energy and not getting real sex, why not retain that energy, transmute it, transform it, and then get yourself a real girlfriend like this guy over here, okay? And then this guy right here, he talks about retention has changed my life. It has helped me crack interviews, get stuff done quickly, feel energetic for most of the time, and you'll definitely notice an interest from the females around you, right? And then read this one. I'm on day 28, 14 hours and 41 minutes. This guy's funny, man. I don't think he's going to make it. Like when you're counting like this, you're probably not going to make it, okay? The key to semen retention, nofap, it's a lifestyle, right? If you're counting your days, eventually it's going to end, right? But it's your ability to get back on there and to do it long term. Anyways, he says, and I can attest to everything this man is saying. I've had 2 girls in the gym approach me already. The way they look at you is different. You can see it in their eyes that they want you. They want you bad. My confidence is at an all-time high. Best decision of my life, okay? Now, this is coming from other guys. Don't just take my word from it. Like, just look the stuff up and then read the stuff in the comments and you'll see what I'm talking about. All these guys that are making these comments, you think they're just, blowing smoke up your ass so that, they can look cool online? There's a reason why all of these testimonials have very common threads, right? That are tying all of them together. A lot of them talk about higher levels of confidence, higher levels of magnetism, attraction from other women, right? I've experienced this again multiple times when I'm on this streak. Like just recently, there was a girl who worked at the gym who approached me to ask me to share with her the mobility routine that I do, right? And she was pretty good looking, but I wasn't into her because I could tell, she was kind of like a hoe, right? No thanks. But when you're on sexual transmutation, it uplifts your energy, uplifts your spirituality too. So you're only looking for a certain vibration. Like at this point, there's a certain type of girl that I'm looking for, and I know when I see her, right? I'm not into these low vibe girls or these promiscuous females. But let's say you're amongst one of these guys who are like, oh, I don't really care about semen retention or the sexual attraction that you get from girls. Well, there's other aspects of it, okay? I'm just letting you know for the guys who are into this information and they want to experience girls, right? Real girls for the first time, or at least have a girl who's into them, right? Semen retention, nofap, sexual transmutation, this is your key. And I'll explain why really shortly, or at least someone else is going to explain why you become more attractive on sexual transmutation, right? So this is an Osho. He's an Indian mystic. A lot of people have, I guess there's controversy within him in the Indian community. Some call him a cult leader or a sexual, this guy who's like about, crazy into sex and stuff like that. He was like a orgy party organizer or stuff like that. I personally don't really give a fuck, right? I listen to the message. I listen to what people have to say. Like, for example, Liver King, if you guys know of that guy, a lot of people are going to shit on Liver King because he took steroids. But they completely throw out the baby with the bathwater and not realize his 9 ancestral tenets are on point, right? Humans are imperfect. Don't worry about the guy. Listen to his message and see if you can get any value from it, right? So this is what Osho says. He says, when the energy goes upward, you will be more sexually attractive to others because life energy going upward creates a great magnetic force, right? You will become more sexually attracted to others. So you will have to be aware of this. Now you will attract persons unknowingly, and the attraction will not only be physical, the attraction will be etheric, right? When he says when the energy goes upward, right? Typically people's energy goes downward. It goes from the lower energy centers out through the penis, into a napkin, into a condom, into a sock, into whatever the fuck you guys use, and the energy is dissipated. It's gone. But when you transmute the energy and you bring the energy up your spine, right? you create a stronger magnetic pull within your body. And I'll explain how this works in the spirituality benefits, okay? So he says this, even a repulsive body, an attractive body will become attractive with yoga. I think what he meant is a repulsive body, right? Even a repulsive body will become attractive with yoga, right? Meaning if you have an ugly appearance, okay? If you have like, oh, my body is not that good, you know, my body's breaking down on me, I'm kind of fat, I'm kind of this and that. You guys don't realize the hidden potential, the power within your body, okay? Look at Wim Hof, the Iceman, who's able to like sit through ice and stuff. The body is highly adaptive. When you tune up your body the same way you take care of your car, when you tune up your body with the principles I'm about to share with you, the keys, right? Like nutrition, eating, training, right? Sleeping, when you tune it up with semen retention and nofap and sexual abstinence, and you train it, you do it through forms like yoga, qigong practices, your body will become so attractive that it's undeniable, okay? You will think it's like, oh, this is not possible. You will never experience such high levels of attraction in your life when you follow these principles, okay? The attraction is etheric, and it is so magnetic that one has to be constantly aware of it, constantly aware. You will be attractive, and the opposite sex will be irresistibly drawn to you. There are subtle vibrations that are created by your etheric body. You have to be aware of them. The type of attraction that will be felt by the opposite sex will differ. It will take so many different forms, but basically it will be sexual. At its root, it will be sexual. Now, I want to ride this a little bit more, because when I'm at the gym, right, I've been training for 10 years, okay? And I do my meditation, I do my breath work there, so I amplify my life force even more. So one, I'm on semen retention and sexual transmutation. And when I'm at the gym, I'm in deep meditation, so my etheric field, my magnetic field, right? It is permeating and it is expanding and it is glowing, like it is permeating the room, right? There are some people, when they walk in the room, you turn your head and you just look at them, right? I don't want to toot my own horn and brag, but I know when people are staring at me, and I know that this effect is true. This is real. When you are retaining your sexual energy and you have a larger magnetic field, you have a larger aura because you have so much life force within you, and you've purified it through breath work, you've purified it through good nutrition, it becomes that much more radiant, that much more powerful. And when you combine proper eating, breath work with semen retention, sexual transmutation, you will be so magnetic, so powerful, so attractive, like he's saying, that just when you walk in the room, you will turn heads, okay? This will help you in all aspects of your life. And there's even videos online with like Michael Jordan, how some people were talking about, he was glowing. He literally had an aura around him. Like other NBA players talk about, when he walked in the room, he was glowing. You could be that person. You can be that person that is like the sun, the energy of the sun, and there's just planets revolving around you. Why? Because the sun is a huge ass planet, right? It's a big ass star, and it's emitting a lot of gravitational pull that is sucking in all the other planets, and it's causing them to revolve around it, okay? That is us. The sun energy and the earth energy, right? Earth is feminine, sun is masculine. Sun is directing, it's giving, right? It's pushing out. Well, that's what you could do when you retain your energy, when you retain your sexual energy and you purify it, you build it up even more through the practices I'm about to share. But before we do that, I want to give you a little bit more in terms of what you'll find online when you look up this information, right? When you type in concepts like semen retention, right? Look at these guys. They don't look like average Joes and bums either, right? These guys don't look like average dudes. Semen retention, I'll never be the same again. How semen retention can make your presence magnetic, and you will be the unspoken alpha, okay? Now, before I read the comments, I want to expand on this. People talk about becoming an alpha male, wanting to be alpha, right? Wanting to be the alpha male of the room, to unlock their higher, their masculinity, become the biggest, baddest dude, become the top G, as they would call it, right? When you do semen retention, sexual transmutation, you will automatically carry, right? I call it divine masculine energy, right? You can even call it alpha, right? Your energy, you will be the unspoken alpha, right? When you walk in the room, even bigger, badder dudes that you think are like super masculine, they'll be like, ooh, there's something about this guy, right? It's because you're carrying more life force energy than them. And our bodies are highly intellectual, or not highly intellectual, highly, the wisdom of our cells, it goes back thousands, if not millions of years, right? It's highly sensitive and smart, right? Our body knows when there's another body with higher life force energy in the room. When you walk into the room and there's like a room full of guys, and automatically we kind of like unconsciously scout out who's the big dude, who's a bad dude, who's the alpha, basically. Our nervous system can attune itself to the most competent person, which I call the alpha, right? Alpha has a very it's stigmatized. It has a very like sexual energy, right? Sexuality, it has a stigma behind it, right? But I see alpha as the most competent person in the room, the person who has the most regulated form of energy, the person who has the most calibrated nervous system, who can handle the highest amount of maybe pressure, or just is most fit to lead in that room. So the person with the highest calibrated energy, people automatically on a subconscious level will orient themselves around that person, okay? So you will become the unspoken alpha if you practice all of the principles that I'm sharing with you, right? Training, right? Unlocking your physical potential, unlocking your spiritual potential, right? Unlocking the avatar state, right? Purifying your energy, your prana, your chi, your life force through breath work. When you do this stuff and you walk in the room, people will sense your energy. And I say it's the divine masculine energy, right? It's divinity. It's the alpha and the omega, right? You carry the full spectrum of masculinity because there is more Jing, life force flowing through you. So let's read these comments. When you're in retention for more than a year, you stop thinking about women. So if this is for all the guys who are like, oh, if you're doing this to attract women, you're a dweeb, you're a loser, right? You shouldn't be doing this to attract women. Well, bro, fuck off. People will do semen retention, no fap, sexual transmutation for whatever they want. The idea, right, is to turn your sexual energy into something else, right? Now, obviously, Napoleon Hill says it's better to, transmute it into a different type of physical expression as opposed to just sex. But I did it in the beginning to find a girlfriend, right? I wanted a girlfriend and I achieved that. And in 2018, 2019, I used it to win a contest, a Transform Me contest with my client, right? I was driven with sexual energy and I was on his ass like a, I guess you can say like Hitler. I was like a dictator. I'm like, bro, you got to do this. We got to fucking win. I was taking charge and, I was making sure we were getting the work done because I was trying to win that competition the same way those boxers were trying to win. So you become driven, right? The same way your boner gets erected, right? An erection, right? Well, this is what I like to call it. If you break down the word erection, right, in the Chinese medicine, Chinese model, there's Jing, Qi, and Shen, right? S-H-E-N, like Shen, spirit, right? Your Shen is your spirit. So I say erect dash Shen, right? Instead of getting an erection, you erect your spirit, erect Shen, okay? So powerful shit. When you retain the sexual energy, you transform it from Jing to Qi to Shen. When you transform it to ice, dense energy, Jing, ice, to water, liquid, Qi, to Shen, to spirit, steam, you become powerful, spiritually, energetically powerful. You will be the unspoken alpha of the room. You may not necessarily be an alpha male, right? But you will have alpha energy, okay? I guarantee you, okay? So let's read the rest of what they say. They said, when you're on retention for more than a year, you stop thinking about women because you've gotten a taste of the ultimate pleasure in life, true inner peace and the clarity of purpose. The fact that you don't pay attention to women is what intrigues them and makes you different. This really makes a difference to me because I can see right through their intentions. This guy knows what he's talking about because I too experienced this, right? In the beginning, when you're doing it for women and stuff like that, it's cool because you will get female attention. But after a while, you just stop caring about the woman. Like when I go to the gym, I like seeing eye candy. I like getting motivated by the woman because it helps me transmute my sexual energy more. But at a certain point, you realize once you've gotten with the woman and you've had enough sex, it's like, okay, I'm using them to masturbate. I'm literally, instead of me masturbating with my hand, I'm masturbating with them, right? And you want something more. You want something better. And then you realize, wow, semen retention, when you're single and you're doing it again for the third, fourth, or fifth time, however much, you stop caring about getting a girl. You care about the divine. You care about God. You care about evolving spiritually. And when you've, as he said, tasted, right, the ultimate pleasure of life, true inner peace, because once you've transmuted your sexual energy and it's been retained in your body for so long, and now you're at such a high vibe, high frequency, and you experience mental clarity, tranquility, bliss, happiness, which I'm about to show you a picture of, and you experience the higher emotions, like you could care less about these low-level behaviors, right? True inner peace and clarity of purpose will come to you when you do long-term semen retention, okay? I'm 113 days retaining, and I don't even care about women attraction. I just like working out and trying to figure out how to make money. I agree, bro. I agree. Now, I'm not saying I don't care about women. I don't like women. If you put the right girl in front of me, I will want to talk to her. I will want to approach her. I will want to say, I will want to get to know her better, right? But here's the thing. My dominant desire is no longer trying to figure out how to get sex. In the past, I was sexually frustrated, as I mentioned, but now I am successfully frustrated. All of my thoughts, all of my energies, all of my desires are directed towards figuring out how to further my career, how to grow my business, right? I have a physical business where I do body work, where I see clients and I fix their pain, their posture, and bring them back into alignment. And then I have my online stuff where I'm trying to teach these guys this information, right? All of my energy, my thought, my attention is directed towards this. And this is when you know, when you have successfully transmuted your sexual energy, your sexual impulses, your desires, your lustful desires to, I wanna find a girl, I wanna have sex, I wanna go on Tinder and swipe, I wanna get a match, I wanna go on Pornhub and bust my nut to this girl, right? All of those desires, if you do sexual transmutation properly, will get transmuted into higher forms of desires, led into gold, okay? You will become more attractive and also more driven towards your hopes, your dreams, your desires, okay? Now, read this over here. This guy says, another thing I noticed when retaining, not only women will pay more attention to you, you spelled this shit wrong or you did a grammar. Not only will women pay more attention to you, other men seem to respect you more. Guys will go out of their way to give you a handshake when they see you from afar, and dudes you don't know will nod or acknowledge your presence without you having to do anything. Now, this is very similar to how semen retention can make your presence magnetic and you'll be the unspoken alpha, right? When I go to the gym, I don't want to toot my own horn, but I experience this as well. There's other guys out there who can sense your energy, right? And as I was talking about, your nervous system is calibrated to know who has a more developed, right? Calibrated, attuned, higher energy field, and also a nervous system that can handle more stress, more pressure, and they will acknowledge you because you have developed that on an unconscious level. So more guys will want to associate themselves with you because they know, right? Men are hierarchical. We go by a hierarchy, right? Men are hierarchical by nature, if I'm saying that word correctly. But you get what I'm saying, right? We go to the army, we go to the military, there's rankings. Men are like that. There's a hierarchy between men. And men know on a subconscious level, the body knows who is the baddest dude in the room. And semen retention will give you that edge. No fap, semen retention, sexual transmutation, especially when you transmute that sexual energy into something better, will give you that edge. And if you don't care about all this, well, guess what? Semen retention, no fap, and sexual transmutation will make you better at what you do. When I practiced this information in 2017, 2018, as a personal trainer, I was like, what, 22, 23? I was pretty young at the time. And I was practicing, even this for a few months. And people were noticing me training my clients. I had more clients want to work with me. More clients want to sign up with me at my job, at the big box gym, because I was carrying around such magnetic energy. I was having fun with my clients, with my personal training clients. I was vibing with them. There were a lot of girls that were kind of like hovering around. That was the time in my life where there was actually a lot of selections, a lot of options for me to choose from. Okay. I really was, making things happen when I was in my early 20s because I was practicing this in the right environment. More people went to my personal trainer director to want to sign up. And then I was almost booked out a month ahead of time. Okay. In order to work with me, you have to book a month ahead of time to get on my schedule. That's how crazy sexual transmutation can serve you when you do this information properly. So if you're in like life insurance, you're in sales, you're in something that's commission based, you're selling like cars, or you're doing something where you're trying to get people to buy from you or get people to associate with you, develop a relationship with you. This is like a hidden gem. This is a secret practice that you can incorporate that will automatically make people want to associate themselves with you. Imagine how much power you have when you understand how to do this, okay? So we talked enough about the benefits. I want to quickly go over the dangers of not regulating your sexual energy. You know the power of holding this in and transmuting it, but what if you don't? You're probably already aware of this, or you're probably even experiencing this right now, but it's really important to understand that there are dangers to not regulating your sexual energy. The first thing that happens, right, when you are not regulating your sexual energy is you become weaker. You become impotent, literally. Remember when we talked about erection? Well, you're not going to be able to have an erection, and you're definitely not going to have an erect shen, okay? Your dick isn't going to work because you keep wanking it and you keep depleting yourself. Most guys who are doing masturbation and ejaculation, I would say most of them, I don't want to say all of them, are malnourished and depleted. They don't have the nutrients on board to be supporting this process. Ejaculation is your body's most precious resource, or semen is your body's most precious resource, as you'll see in the nutrition section when we talk about how to do this. And if you keep depleting your body when you're already depleted, then you're only going to become weaker as a man, okay? You're going to feel certain emotions that you do not want to feel, such as anxiousness, stress, depression, and you're not even going to know why. Well, I'm telling you this is why. If you're feeling these emotions, it's because your body is depleted of its resources, and because it's depleted, it's going to feel anxious. It's going to feel stressed. It's going to feel depressed because you're just low on vitality. What's the opposite of this? What's not having stress? What's not having depression? Well, having aggression, having higher levels of emotions, being at ease, that's someone who's entering the Tao, the flow, right? They're no longer plagued by these lower level emotions. You begin to lose respect for yourself because you can't control your animal instincts. You're stuck in the lower three. So when you don't practice this stuff, when you keep doing what you're doing, you're not gonna be able to respect yourself because you're telling yourself, oh, I gotta stop smoking, I gotta stop drinking, I gotta stop watching porn and playing video games and doing this and that, but I just can't stop. I've been there. It's painful wanting to stop something, but you just can't. You just don't have the strength to. And you begin to lose respect for yourself. Now, guys, I'm not addicted to anything. And I say this with confidence. This year, I stopped watching porn. I stopped playing video games. I've been practicing no porn and no ejaculation for a long time already. I no longer drink. I did 4 months of abstaining from all these activities because I gave myself a command and I could follow through with it. And now I respect myself because I'm able to do that. And then now in the future, if I do decide to indulge in some of these activities, I can trust myself that I can say, no more, let's cut it out. Let's go on another phase of cleanliness, monk mode. And then you give off energy that tells people they can take advantage of you. If you're constantly weak and depleted, people will smell that, as opposed to they'll smell you're full of energy, full of sexual energy, full of energy that people want to associate with. Okay. And then you also you'll begin to feel like, oh, I'm not reaching my potential as a man, or I'm not living up to my potential as a man. And this right here is very, very important. And it's very closely associated with losing respect for yourself. Because if you're not able to give yourself a command and follow through with it, or do the things you know you need to do, then you're never going to reach your potential as a man. And as a result, you're going to feel like shit. Okay. And then the last thing of not regulating your sexual energy and indulging in it mindlessly is you become a loser. If you are constantly watching porn and ejaculating, and that's all you're doing with your life, and you're playing video games and you're just living in your vices as opposed to upholding virtue, you become a loser. Most guys want to win in life, but they can't because they're stuck with vices. Think about what's going on in your life. Are you someone who has successfully conquered your vices and can say you're a virtuous man that's living up to his potential and striving towards his hopes, his dreams, his goals? If you're not, sexual transmutation could be the foundation, the key to get your life on track. And we're going to talk about how to do this very shortly. So congratulations for staying until the end. Now it's time for the long-awaited, how do you do sexual transmutation? I'm going to share with you the model that I teach the guys in my program. And also I'm going to break it down a little bit further for all of you guys who've already heard of this acronym, okay? The acronym when it comes down to transmuting sexual energy is CCCT. Conserve, cultivate, circulate, transform. I'm going to break this down a little bit further, and I'm going to give you 4 keys to implement today, right away, so that you can begin to transmute sexual energy, okay? So conservation, conserve. The first step in transmutation is to conserve your sexual energy through abstinence, no FAP, and semen retention. Meaning if you have a wife, if you have a girlfriend, you're kind of out of luck, or you could just practice sex without busting a nut, okay? Cultivating your sexual energy by not ejaculating and by not touching yourself if you're not in a relationship, and just doing semen retention for as long as you can. So conservation, think of it like this: saving money, cultivating as growing money, circulating as distributing your money, and transformation is once your assets have grown, your investments has grown. Once you've distributed and circulated your money into assets, now it transforms into something better. More investments, more money, more energy, okay? So conserving your sexual energy is to plug the leak of ejaculation, leaking sexual energy. And not just energy of sexual energy, but conserving energy in all realms of your life. Not engaging in vices, not sleeping way past your bedtime, not watching a bunch of porn, a bunch of Netflix, a bunch of playing a bunch of video games. Conserving your energy. That is the most basic form of transmutation first, because you need to have enough energy on board to transmute. The second one is to cultivate your sexual energy through proper lifestyle choices, which we're going to discuss. You need to have a proper diet. You need to move. You need to have resistance training. You need to have some form of movement so that you can cultivate this energy. Breath work. Bring in more chi, bring in more prana. Because how can you transform sexual energy if you don't have any in your body? Circulate. You need to circulate this energy, allow it to permeate your cells, allow it to circulate through the different meridians, the nadis, the channels within your body through movement, physical training, breath work. And then finally, you need to transform this transform this energy through a higher purpose, or through breathing exercises when you experience sexual desire. You can transform sexual desire, you can transform sexual energy into something better via what I'm about to share with you, okay? So here are the 4 keys of sexual transmutation that I encourage you to investigate, look into, and research yourself. As I've mentioned in the past, I'm going to give you an overview. My program is 20 hours long. This webinar in itself is almost like 2 hours, getting close to 2 hours. An hour and a half, something like that, 2 hours. It's going to be 2 hours probably by the time we finish. My course is 20 hours. That's 10% of what we cover. So these keys are going to be things that you need to look into yourself if you want to succeed with semen retention, sexual transmutation as soon as possible. The first one is nutrition, and we're going to break all of these down individually. Second one is breath work. Third one is physical training. And the fourth one is higher purpose. Okay, these are the 4 keys. There's a little bit more to it, such as getting enough rest, getting enough sleep, drinking enough water, you know, having something that you can kind of dedicate yourself. But these are the 4 keys that you need to master in order to successfully transmit your sexual energy to the highest degree. Now let's break it down quickly, okay? So energy cultivation begins with what you put into your body, aka the food you eat, the diet you have, the nutrition that is within your cells, within your body, the resources that your body has. This diagram right here, the formation of the 7 dhatus of the body. This is very important when it comes down to cultivating sexual energy. And it is the reason why I want to share with you and be honest with you that this year, when I did my semen retention journey, my sexual transmutation journey for about 4 months, I was on it for 4 months and then had to take an emergency visit to China. During my 2 weeks in China, I ate a bunch of shitty food, okay? And look at this. This is the layers of the body. It goes from food, plasma, blood. So think about the process. When you eat something, it gets assimilated into your body. Your body uses it for plasma, uses it for blood, uses to form muscle tissue. Let's say you work out, you break down your muscles, you need to build that muscle. Whatever doesn't get stored in your muscles, used for your muscles, gets turned into fat, stored into their bone, into the marrow. And then the last layer is the semen, the vidya, right? The sperm, the seminal fluid, the cells. So your body goes through 6 layers before it finally produces sperm and semen. When you are feeding your body with this shit right here, do you think you're going to have the highest quality plasma, highest quality blood, highest quality muscle? You're definitely going to have a lot of fat. Do you think your bones are going to be strong? No. The reason why when I came back from China and I had uncontrollable sexual urges is because my body was going through these layers. The first 4 months, I had no problems with my sexual energy. No problem whatsoever. I could transmute it easily with my breathing protocols that I'm about to talk with you about. But I had no problem with my sexual energy. But because I ate so much shit in China, even though it was really good food, it was really tasty, because I ate so much low quality oils, low quality meat, junk food, every layer of my body was toxic. I was intoxicated with low quality shit, right? My marrow, my bone, my fat, my muscles, they were tainted with low vibe, negative energy. So the wisdom of my cells, I guess, gave me crazy, chaotic sexual urges that I could not control. And I was like, okay, I gave myself a day. I slept on it too. I felt horny the whole day. And I'm like, this is odd. This is off. My body is trying to let me know like there's something up. And then when I woke up in the morning, I'm like, okay, it's time, guys. I'm not going to hold on to this negative energy for my ego because I've done this multiple times. And I know when my energy is out of whack and I know when my energy is on point. And I had to stop my streak because of this. If you eat like this, your urges are going to be uncontrollable, untransmutable, and you are going to constantly fail on sexual transmutation and semen retention. Your diet needs to be on point. You need to eat clean food. You need to eat high vibe foods. And in my program, in my training, I teach you exactly what to do, how to eat, so that you don't have any problems regulating your sexual energy. The second thing when it comes down to transmuting sexual energy is breath work. Now, this used to be number one. This used to be first because the moment you feel sexual energy, there are certain breathing practices you can do, breathing protocols that I teach in my program. There are certain breathing techniques that you can do to transmute this energy right then and there. You need to look into breathwork practices, breathing practices that you can do consistently so that your meridians or nadis are open so that this energy can be given another pathway. If you are constantly sitting on your ass, watching Netflix, playing video games, and your energy is stagnant, your posture is horrible, right? You have a bunch of, problems with your pelvis, your upper body is slouched, you have kyphosis, your pelvic tilts, you have some lordosis going on or hyperlordosis, you have a pelvis that's elevated, you have a pelvis that's rotated. All of this is going to mess with your posture. Your posture, the form of your body, is going to dictate the function. So you can't circulate your energy if your body's all out of whack. Breathwork used to be first, but I realized food is more important because you cannot transmute poor energy. You cannot transmute a shitty, chaotic, dense, dark, toxic energy. It just doesn't work. I tried it and it did not work. I did breathwork when I had that sexual urge. It went away for a little bit. And then at nighttime, it came back. And I've never had that problem the first 4 months of my transmutation practice. So that's when I knew for sure it was all the food that I layered my body with, okay? So get your nutrition right, learn some breathing practices, and make some breathwork protocols as a daily part of your morning routine, and you will be set, okay? The next aspect when it comes down to transmuting your sexual energy is choosing a form of physical training, any form of sport, so that you can give your body adequate stimulus so that more sexual energy can come in. If you think about all the examples that we talked about, especially the fighters and the boxers, this is a form of training, right? Think about what happens when you're doing weight training, calisthenics. What are you doing? I'm personally a fan of these two because they're in my realm. This is right up my alley. Calisthenics and weight training is the most, I wouldn't say easiest, but it's the most controlled way of breaking down your body if you're doing it with good form. It's the most minimal way of injuring yourself. Obviously, if you're lifting hella heavy, you're going to increase your injury. But if you're doing good form, you could progressively overload your body, break down muscle tissue, and then allow more sexual energy to come in, to be assimilated. What does your body need in order to build up muscle? Well, the most basic form is energy. Where do you get the energy? From the food. Remember the 7 dhatus, the layers? So if you're building your body, that's why they say you are what you eat. If you're building your body with shit, then you're going to have shitty energy. And your body is going to want to get rid of that energy because it's low quality. It's not going to want to transmute that. So you want to take a look at the resistance training that you're doing and choose one that you like the most, and then channel your energy towards that physical training so that when your body grows in resistance, that's why they call it resistance training. When it grows its adaptation, it takes that sexual energy that you've accumulated in your body, and then it builds more muscle. It builds better hormones. It builds better neurotransmitters. All of your nerves, all of your cells, your eyeballs, right? Your skin, all of this is built from the food you put into your body. So it's really important to eat high quality food and then to engage in resistance training, which is why a lot of high level athletes care so much about their diet or hire a nutritionist, is because they understand nutrition affects performance. Okay. So that's number 3. And then the fourth and final thing that we're going to talk about is having a passion and a purpose in your life. All of the people that we talked about in the past, the boxers, all of them have something that they're shooting for. More specifically, beating the other guy's ass in the ring or in the cage. If you're a UFC fighter, MMA fighter, they had one specific purpose, and that was to win that match. LeBron James is to win get a ring, win the finals. He's not like, oh, how do I become a tennis pro, or how can I become a baseball pro, right? That's why Napoleon says here, until a man selects a definiteness of purpose in life, he dissipates his energy and spreads his thoughts over so many subjects and in so many different directions that they lead not to power, but to indecision and weakness. How many guys do you know of? Maybe you're one of them, who's like, oh, I want to get into real estate. No, I gotta do e-commerce. That's the real thing. No, I want to be a YouTube creator. And he's like 3 months in, it's like, oh wait, dude, I want to go back to trade school and get my electrical engineering job. It's like, bro, calm the fuck down, chill out, choose one thing and stick to it. Now, obviously, it's not going to be like that for most guys. You're going to have to experiment around and realize you're not getting anywhere until you harness the power of the sun with the magnifying glass. I'm sure we've heard that analogy. When you take the magnifying glass under the sun and you just focus that beam of light into one area, it will burn through anything and turn that shit on fire. That is the power of having a purpose. You channel all of that energy that you've built up in your body through no-fap, zero intention, sexual transmutation, and you transform it into your purpose. If you're a rapper, start rapping more, start creating more. If you're a content creator, start creating more videos. That's what I'm doing now. Instead of creating babies down there in the lower energy centers, I'm creating babies up here. I no longer care about constantly pursuing women to have sex, or constantly finding porn sites to blow a load on, right? That's why he says here, right? He dissipates his energy and spreads his thoughts over so many subjects and in so many different directions that they lead not to power, but to indecision and weakness. If you have shiny object syndrome, this is what he's talking about. You need to choose one thing and keep trying, keep finding it until you've figured out what your purpose is, because it's not easy. I get it, which is why I teach this in my program as well, how to find your passion and your purpose. There is a protocol you can follow to reflect on yourself, to figure out what is it that I enjoy? What is it that I'm good at? And then experimenting so you minimize the amount of trial and error that you do. And then here's the second quote that I want to share with you when it comes down to passion or purpose. A man who lacks purpose distracts himself with pleasure, which is a spin-off of Viktor E. Frankl, who was a Holocaust survivor, who says when a person can't find a deep sense of meaning, aka higher purpose, they distract themselves with pleasure. So this guy was the original quoter, right? The person who said this, and then everyone else kind of made a spin-off of this. He was a Holocaust survivor. When the Germans mass killed, genocide, the Jews, He was in the concentration camp and he realized the way to survive, that why most people gave up was because they didn't have something to look forward to, a higher purpose, a deeper meaning to live for. When a man doesn't have that, when he doesn't have a purpose, when he doesn't have something to live for, something to serve, a mission, something greater than himself, like a dog that doesn't have purpose, what it does is it starts chasing its tail. Have you seen that? Like a dog just starts barking in the middle of like, just like in the backyard, running around in circles, chasing its tail. Like my dog used to chase the bull around or dig holes everywhere. Well, there's the animalistic instinct of the dog that needs to serve, they call them shepherds, right? Shepherds, like Australian shepherds, German shepherds, they need to shepherd something. They need to do something. They need to feel like they're of use, of value. Same with men. If men do not feel like they're of use, of value, they're going to find a way to meet that need in any way possible. And it's usually through playing video games, right? Call of Duty, Fortnite soldier. There was a joke about how, you know, men in the past used to be training for war and walking out to the front lines in the field. Now people are training their Call of Duty soldiers, dressing up their Fortnite characters to go dominate and fight other men online. Come on, guys. We could do better than this. We have to take out our sword, our shield, and fight dragons in real life. That's like slaying enemies in real life, slaying our dragons, slaying the demons that are in our life. The real demons is this right here. Consumerism, drinking alcohol, eating buckets of popcorn, eating bags of potato chips, eating loads of French fries and just numbing yourself out. That's the real dragon. That's the real battle. If you want to level up as a man, if you want to level up as a human, you need to find a passion and a purpose, and you need to discipline yourself. That's why all these boxers that I shared with you, all these athletes, they're so successful, is because they have a real video game they're playing. It's called the game of life. If you want to level up and unlock your inner genius, unlock your inner superpower, which you do have, you need to get rid of this shit. And then you need to develop a passion and a purpose, okay? So those are the 4 things that we covered. 1, nutrition. You need to eat good food. Number 2, breath work. You need to have breathing protocols. You need to have a breathwork routine that you do to open up your channels. Number 3, you need to have some sort of physical training. And then number 4, you need to have a passion or a purpose. When you have these 4 keys, sexual transmutation will be effortless. It will be so easy and effortless. That's just a natural path of energetic progression. Instead of it going downwards, it will rise and it will permeate every cell of your being. So now that you have the keys, we have 2 options. You can continue investigating this yourself, or you can learn from me who's done this multiple times, okay? I want to share with you my course, what you will get from the course, because at this moment in time, you're like, okay, Kevin, I like what you said. Tell me more. What are you going to give me? What am I going to get out of this course, and how much is it? Well, I'm glad you asked. I was worried you didn't. Okay. So in my course, this is what I'm going to teach you. I'm going to show you how you can control your sexual desire. Okay. The biggest reason why most guys fail when it comes down to nofap and semen retention and sexual transmutation is because they don't know how to control their sexual energy. They don't know how to regulate their sexual urges. When the dragon of sexual desire comes in, they're like, oh, fuck. Ooh, they see that Instagram model and they're like squirming around, getting off their chair. And it's like, fuck, man, I need a busted nut, right? I will teach you how to control your sexual desire and no longer be a slave to your urges by teaching you ancient breathing techniques to transmute sexual energy. There are 4 videos, I believe, where I take you from level 1 to level 4 advanced, beginner to advanced, on how to regulate and fix your breathing at the most basic level, because a lot of people have poor posture. Their rib cage is kind of shut down and it's pressing down on their diaphragm, so they can't take deep breaths. And because they can't take deep breaths, they're known as like a shallow breather or a chest breather. And if you're a chest breather or a shallow breather, your breathing is most likely fucked up. And if your breathing is fucked up, your whole body's fucked up, because breathing is the most important function of the human body, okay? Think about that statement. Breathing is the most important function of the human body. It reigns supreme even over water. And if you don't believe me, try not breathing for 10 minutes. Oh, yeah, that's right. That's right. So I will teach you how to go from fucked up breathing, beginner level, to advanced breathing practitioner. I will teach you advanced breathing techniques to really circulate this energy throughout your body and bring in the deepest, most rich oxygen that you can through manipulating your body in a certain way, holding certain poses, and really drawing in the prana from the air, from the environment. So you will go from beginner to advanced in a very short amount of time. I'll also teach you the best diet you can do for sexual transmutation, okay? A lot of people don't realize the power of food. The power of food is like a hidden gem. It's like a secret. It is the key to having high vibe. And then when you pair this with sexual transmutation, you are going to be operating on another level, another frequency. So I will teach you the best diet you can have for sexual transmutation. And it's all individualistic, okay? I will teach you how to customize, how to figure out what diet works for you. Because a lot of people are like, it's all about veganism. You know, you got to eat vegan and vegetarian if you want to be your healthiest. And a lot of people on the other side is like, no, it's got to be carnivore. You got to eat meat, right? Which one's which? Well, I teach you how to figure that out because ultimately my diet may be different from yours, but I give you a template and I give you principles, right? How to assess your body, how to figure out what works best for you, because the food that you eat might give me allergies. The food that I eat, you might just throw up and not like. So I will teach you the best diet, right? Not for everyone, but the best diet for your body so that you can have the highest levels of testosterone and so that you can transmute your sexual energy without any problem, okay? This right here is worth the program, its weight in gold, okay? The training on nutrition, if you just learn that, you would be set for life. I promise you. And then I'll also give you a protocol for the diet when it comes down to having glowing skin and radiant energy. Because you have to realize your skin is one of the biggest organs in the human body. And when you're eating a bunch of potato chips and French fries and drinking a bunch of Gatorade or soda, all of that shit gets expelled through your skin. So if you're having like acne or spotchy skin and it just looks nasty and you're like, you smell bad, you have strong odor. And then when women come by you, she doesn't like the way your hormones smell or your pheromones smell because you're just reeking with junk. Well, I will teach you the protocol so that your skin is radiant. It glows. It looks nice. It's smooth. Okay. I will teach you this protocol that you can do for the rest of your life. It's not just one and done. Each time you need a tune up, you can go back to this protocol and tune up your body, tune up your energy, tune up your skin. And when your skin looks good and your cells are healthy, your energy naturally radiates. Even if you didn't do NoFap and serum retention or sexual transmutation and you just followed the diet protocol, you'd be levels above other people in terms of health, okay? And then I'm also going to teach you training principles to get lean and shredded. Now, this isn't a training program at all, okay? But I will teach you the principles, the techniques that you need to implement in your gym sessions, in your physical training sessions, in your weightlifting sessions, so that you get the most out of your workouts, so that you can break down as much muscle tissue and allow as much sexual energy to come back so that your body can be filled with brimming life force energy. I will teach you the principles that I've learned over the 10 years of my training as a personal trainer and just working out for myself, right? Trying to unlock my genetic potential, how to get muscles that are dense, striated, so that they look good, so that you can become lean, right? And attractive to other people. These principles took me a while to practice and to learn, and I'm going to share these with you in the training so that you can maximize the amount of sexual energy coursing through your veins. And then I'm also going to give you masculinity training protocols. If you didn't realize or didn't notice, masculinity is at its all-time low. We're suffering from low levels of masculine energy. You could say that, masculinity is the way masculine energy gets expressed in a male body. But now we have a bunch of men with feminine energy or undeveloped masculine energy. And this is because there's not a proper outlet, a proper stimulus, a proper protocol for them to grow as a man. And if you want to really grow to your potential as a man, you need to understand that there are certain facial structures, or there's certain ways you can use your face, gestures, right? There's certain things you can do with your face, with your tone. There are certain practices that you can do to grow your masculinity so that you can become the most dominant, attractive, assertive, powerful, grounded man that you can be. Now, this isn't going to turn you into an alpha male overnight. This is not what I'm talking about, right? There's a lot of progress that I still need to make as a man, but I'm going to share with you what has worked for me, what has allowed me to assert my masculinity, assert myself, articulate myself, right? How to really sharpen my tool and not that tool, you motherfuckers. There's more. There's more. I'm going to give you the mindset behind abstinence, how to do nofap and semen retention and sexual transmutation long-term, how to stay on this path. There's a reason why I was able to do multiple long streaks of a year, almost a year long, 13 months, 11 months, 11 months. It's because I understood that there is a mental framework, there is a mindset, there are principles you can put in place when it comes down to succeeding on sexual transmutation. Okay, and I'm going to teach this mindset to you so that once you download it, you can operate from a better frame of mind. A lot of guys talk about relapsing and stuff like that. That's the wrong word to use when you're trying to get on this path, right? The same way I look at eating healthy and then having junk food every now and then, I don't consider having junk food every now and then as a relapse, right? It's a period of time where I'm disciplined. Okay, like I'm eating clean for 3 months and I haven't eaten out. Okay, well, I'm going to go out and go to a restaurant, right? I haven't eaten out in months. Or at least before I went to China, I didn't eat out for like 3 months. All I did was eat at home. So every now and then I'll have like a protein bar that I buy at the store. I'll buy like a little snack. I don't count that as a relapse because my lifestyle is of a healthy person. And I'm going to teach you that the mindset when it comes down to conquering your sexual desire isn't about seeing yourself as a drug addict, someone who relapses each time he does nofap, or each time he faps off to online porn. That's not the way to look at it, okay? So you'll learn the ultimate mindset when it comes down to sexual abstinence, nofap, and semen retention. And then I'm also going to share with you a no bullshit guide to programming or reprogramming your subconscious mind. If you're into the self-development community or self-help community, you'll quickly realize the importance of your subconscious mind. Your subconscious mind is what regulates, what operates in the background, all of the behaviors, all of the activities, all the thoughts, feelings, and emotions that you experience. And a lot of people don't realize the simplicity and the complexity of what it takes to program your subconscious mind. And I break this down in very succinct detail so that you can understand this no problem, okay? And it does work. It's very powerful too. When you learn this information, you're gonna make leaps and bounds in your self-development, self-help career or journey, guaranteed, okay? Then I'm also gonna teach you the no bullshit guide on how manifestation really works. A lot of people in the new age community is like, think and feel, oh, I think and feel and I manifest stuff. And there's a lot of fluff to it, okay? I'm going to teach you exactly how manifestation works from a small scale, like you thinking about French fries, potato chips, and you going out buying it. Manifestation in that form, all the way to a complex Olympic level manifestation, how people at the highest level are achieving manifestation from that aspect, okay? I'm also going to give you a no bullshit protocol on chakra tuning and balancing. If you liked what I talked about the spirituality and achieving enlightenment and raising and opening your kundalini and opening your chakras, unlocking your inner superpowers, your ESPs, your extrasensory perceptions, when you tune your chakras, when you balance them out through the protocols that I share with you in the program, right? For example, using your voice, there are certain ways you can use your tone, your vocal cords to tune your chakras, to open up your energy channels. You will be operating, again, at a very high frequency. When your chakras are balanced and they're operating at its fullest capacity, you will be a walking, talking human being. And then I'm going to teach you how you can release trauma and energetic blockages from your body that are causing your chakras to be out of balance or causing your emotions to be out of balance or out of whack. and really step into your power as a man. Because if you have negative trauma, emotional trauma, if you have blockages within your body from a mental, emotional, and spiritual sense, if you don't release that, that's like having one foot on the gas and one foot on the brake. You're going to feel like you're spinning in circles, not making any progress because you have blockages, bro. Your energy is not flowing. You need to release trauma from your body so that you can get the most out of your sexual transmutation protocol. And then most importantly, the last but not least is how to take action. Because look, this training is about 2 hours long. I've shared with you a lot of information. And also in the course, I will share with you even more information. And I'm sure you're watching a bunch of reels online, watching a bunch of TikToks, watching a bunch of YouTube videos, listening to a bunch of podcasts. Your brain is probably inundated, filled with junk. And if you do not have a protocol on how you can consistently take action on the shit that you're learning, that you're buying, that you're paying money for, you are in for a bunch of pain and suffering. So the most important part when it comes down to all of this information is taking action. And I will share with you exactly how to take action consistently, and most importantly, even when you don't feel like it. It took me a very long time to realize that the problem wasn't out there, it was with me. The only way I'm going to make progress and move my goals forward is if I take action consistently, even when I don't feel like it. The same way I go to the gym pretty much every day without fail, no matter how I feel. I use that same process and I applied it to my work, and it's working like a charm. So I will teach you the protocol on how to take action and not just be someone who talks a bunch of shit and not gets anything done, okay? Now, let's talk about the price of the program, okay? How much is it? The big question we all want to know. Before I reveal it to you, I want you to honestly think to yourself first. How much is this information worth to you? Okay? What would you be willing to pay in order to learn how to master your sexual energy, how to overcome your sexual desire, how to fix your diet, how to eat properly so that your skin looks good, so that your hormones are good? And this information isn't something you're just going to use once if you actually apply it, right? You're going to use it for the rest of your life, right? A lot of guys spend their money on drugs, on alcohol, right? Buying a 6-pack, a 12-pack, or they'll buy some weed, right? They'll spend, what, 10, 20, 35, or they'll buy an ounce, right? An eighth of weed. They'll buy some drugs. Once they use up the drugs, right, they have to buy more, right? They're constantly funding a lifestyle. They're constantly funding poor habits. The whole point of sexual transmutation, semen retention, and nofap is conserving your energy, right? The very first thing is to conserve your energy, and then you cultivate your energy, right? If you're conserving your energy, you're allowing it to build up within your body by not leaking it out, and you're holding on to your semen, your sexual energy, you're conserving your energy, right? When you're buying drugs, when you're going out and buying fast food, buying chips, buying Doritos, buying snacks, what are you doing? Are you conserving your energy or are you depleting it? Think about all the activities that you spend your money on that is depleting your energy, okay? Think about all the things that you're spending money on that you're depleting your energy on. Are you going to music festivals? Are you going to raves? You're going to concerts? I know it's entertainment. Don't get me wrong. I'm not against that. But how much do people spend on a rave, on a concert ticket? They might drop $100, $200, $300, $400, or if they're going to Coachella, $500, $600, right? You're going to a flight to across the country. You're spending hundreds, if not thousands of dollars on a ticket. And then that is a short-lived process. When you invest in yourself and you invest in education, you invest in a program like this, right? You pay for it once and it lasts for the rest of your life. And you will make quantum leaps in your life, in your health, in your spirituality, because you have learned something that will forever stay with you until you die, okay? So the price of the program, right? I personally can charge $997 for this information. For what you're getting out of this, it's super cheap, okay? But obviously, I'm not going to charge you that, okay? I'm not going to charge you $997. In order to work with me one-on-one, you're going to have to pay more than this. This is why I say I can easily charge this, right? If I can fix someone's problem, think about this. If I can fix your problem, your addictions to pornography and masturbation and addictions to any other drug, right? If you're working with me one-on-one, I guarantee you that I can fix your problems. Why? Because I've done it for myself and I know what it takes to fix a habit, an addiction, right? Something you depend on, dependencies. I know how to get rid of vices because I've done it for myself and I've helped other people do it. So I can easily charge $1,000+ for the information. And I do. If you want to work on with me one-on-one, if you get on a coaching call with me and you want to work with me one-on-one, I promise you the price that I'm going to ask for is more than $1,000. Okay. Now, I'm not going to charge you that because this is a program I already created and I don't have to keep being there, right? Eventually the program, I am going to charge $497 for it, okay? But I'm not going to charge that today because this is a launch, right? You're getting a special deal, okay? If you're getting the program today for the next 6 months or so, the end of this year, I would say, I'm going to give you a discount if you get the program, right? And I will increase the price to $497 once enough people join. And then I get enough testimonials to show you guys what I'm teaching works. And then eventually I'm going to bump it up even more. I might go back. I might actually start selling it for $997. Okay. But I'm not going to sell it for $497 right now. I will in the future. I for sure will. Today, you can get a discount and it's only $297. Okay. For what you are going to learn on this program, it is a fucking steal. Okay. I guarantee you, you can spend the time trying to learn this information on your own, or you can learn it directly from someone who's done it already. And not just that, you can speed up the process in which you minimize the amount of failures you have, and you can learn right off the bat exactly how to control and tame that dragon of sexual desire and how to start eating radically differently right away today, okay? You can spend time experimenting on what foods work for your body, what makes you feel good and whatnot, or you can learn exactly what to do. Investing in yourself is the best thing you can do for the rest of your life, right? Your tool, your vessel, your body is what determines the type of emotions you feel, the type of relationships you have, whether or not your boss wants to promote you, whether or not you'll make it in terms of fitness, health, wealth, right? If you don't have health, if you don't have energy and vitality, nothing else really matters. So think about how your life is right now. This price I'm asking for is a fraction of your paycheck, and you invest in it once and it will multiply. The investment you put into this program will multiply. You don't deplete yourself. You give up a fraction of your paycheck, and then that energy will come back to you tenfold in the years to come, okay? As opposed to spending on drugs, spending it on alcohol, spending it on stupid shit. You deplete your energy and it never comes back. In fact, it'll probably make you feel worse down the line. So think about what you're doing. Think about the choices you're making. Whether or not you get this program, just think about that. Every time you make a decision, you are either depleting your energy and then getting nothing back in return, or you're depleting your energy and you're getting a lot more back in return, okay? All of our decisions are like this on a different scale. And I teach you exactly how that process works in properly managing and channeling your energy, okay? But I don't want to go too much in depth. This is a very long training already. The price of the program is $297. In the future, it will be $497. And I'll debate whether or not I want to increase it to $1,000, depending on the results that people are getting, okay? But I guarantee you the price will go up if you don't get it now and do not regret. So thank you so much for tuning in, and I will see you in the inside.